at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport with my son and daughter-in-law. Ready for our family trip to Italy, a federal agent suddenly grabbed my arm. "Pretend I'm arresting you and stay quiet," he whispered urgently. I was stunned. His face was pale with shock. 15 minutes later, I sat in a sterile FBI office as he pulled up surveillance footage on a monitor. What I saw made me realize my life was in immediate danger. Comment below where you're watching this from and what time it is right now. Because at 7 a.m. in Atlanta Airport, I thought I was just starting a family vacation. I had no idea I was walking into a trap. My name is Gideon Sullivan, and at 55, I thought I had life figured out. I'd built 3 successful companies from the ground up, survived 2 recessions, and accumulated enough wealth to secure my family's future for generations. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared me for losing Linda. 6 months ago, cancer took my wife of 28 years. The doctors gave us 6 months to fight it. She lasted 4. Her final words still echo in my mind. "Promise me you'll fix things with the kids, Gideon. Don't let work be your whole world anymore." That promise brought me here. Standing in the security line with my son Tobias and his wife Brittany. At 30, Tobias had inherited his mother's gentle eyes but lacked her intuitive wisdom. Brittany, 28, was everything Linda had worried about. Beautiful, charming, and just a little too interested in our family's financial portfolio. "Dad, are you sure you're ready for this?" Tobias asked, adjusting his carry-on bag. 2 weeks in Italy is a long time away from the office. I smiled, remembering how Linda used to roll her eyes when I'd check emails during family dinners. "Your mother always wanted to see Florence. Figured it was time I honored that dream, even if she can't be there with us." Brittany squeezed my arm with practiced sympathy. "She's watching over us, Gideon. This trip is going to be exactly what we all need." The irony of those words would haunt me later. The TSA agent waved me forward. I handed over my boarding pass and driver's license. Routine. But as the agent examined my documents, his expression changed. It wasn't a suspicion. It was fear. For me. "Act like I'm arresting you and keep quiet," he whispered, his voice a blade of ice in the airport's warmth. I was frozen. He stepped around the counter, his hand firm on my elbow. "Sir, I need you to come with me for additional screening, just routine." I heard Tobias call out, "Dad, what's happening?" I saw Brittany's perfectly sculpted look of concern. And then, I was being led away. 15 minutes later, in that cold, windowless room, Special Agent Matthew Stone closed the door. "Mr. Sullivan, I'm going to show you something difficult to watch," he said. The monitor flickered to life. Airport security footage, time-stamped 7:23 a.m. There we were. A happy family. Then Agent Stone pointed. "Watch your son's hands." My blood turned to sludge. I watched as Tobias reached into Brittany's purse. He pulled out a small, translucent vial. With a smooth, practiced motion, he unscrewed the cap of the water bottle in my carry-on bag. He emptied the vial's contents into it, recapped it, placed it back. "Jesus Christ," I whispered, the words tearing from my throat. "Lab analysis suggests it's a fast-acting cardiac sedative," Stone said quietly. "In that concentration, ingested mid-flight, it would have caused a massive, fatal heart attack within 3 hours. The perfect crime. A grieving son and daughter-in-law comforting each other on a tragic vacation gone horribly wrong." I couldn't breathe. Linda's voice echoed, a ghost from 18 months ago. "That girl, it's like she's taking inventory of our life, Gideon, and our son, he just can't see it." I had shushed her, called her paranoid. Stone played the clip again, this time with enhanced audio. After Tobias capped the bottle, he turned to Brittany, his face ashen. "It's done," he whispered. Brittany squeezed his arm, her smile not reaching her eyes. Remember, we're doing this for us. Those people won't wait much longer. Tobias swallowed hard. What if something goes wrong? Nothing will go wrong, she soothed, her voice chillingly calm. By tonight, we'll be free, and your father will finally be at peace with your mother. The screen froze on my son's guilt-ridden face. We can arrest them right now, Stone said, but with good lawyers. They'll claim someone else tampered with your bag. They'll walk, or get a light sentence. There's another way. I looked at him, my world in ashes. What way? You get on that plane. So I walked back to the gate, an actor in my own nightmare. Agent Stone's words rang in my ears. Let them think they've succeeded. We'll be watching every move, every whisper. The moment they try to administer the poison, we'll have them. It will be undeniable. Tobias and Brittany rushed to me. Dad, are you okay? Tobias's face was a mask of worry. Was it always this convincing? Just a random check, I said, forcing a smile, clapping him on the shoulder. I felt his muscles tense. You know how it is these days, nothing to worry about. I saw the glance that passed between them. Relief. Triumph. It took every ounce of my will not to collapse. On the plane in first class, the act continued. I talked about Linda, about how much she'd have loved this. I saw Tobias's jaw tighten with what I now knew was guilt, not grief. Brittany offered me a bottle of water from her bag. You must be thirsty after all that, Gideon. I looked at the sealed bottle, then in my own bag, holding the one my son had poisoned. I'm fine, dear, I have my own right here. I pulled out the deadly bottle, held it in my hand. The instrument of my intended murder. I'll save it for later. The flight was agony. Every time I pretended to doze, I felt their eyes on me, waiting, planning. When the meal came, Brittany was too eager to hand me my tray. I made sure you got the chicken just like you wanted. I ate it, every bite, because Stone's team had switched the food, because hidden cameras in the cabin ceiling were recording it all. I was a mouse in a lab, and the snakes were my own family. Over the Atlantic, I finally stood up, the poisoned water bottle in my hand. Stretch my legs, I mumbled. I walked toward the galley. As I passed their seats, I pretended to stumble. The bottle flew from my hand, skittering under seats several rows back. Oh, clumsy me, I said, my voice thick. I'll get it, Tobias said, immediately unbuckling. No, son, it's fine. I didn't even want it. Let the crew deal with it. I placed a firm hand on his shoulder, pushing him back down. I saw the panic in his eyes. Their only weapon was now lost in a sea of passengers. The plan was unraveling, and they were 30,000 feet in the air with no way to improvise. The tension between them for the rest of the flight was palpable. The silent, frantic arguments in their eyes. This was not part of the script. In Florence, the FBI's net was invisible but everywhere. Our hotel suite, the beautiful terrace overlooking the Arno River, all wired for sound and video. Stone's voice was a constant, quiet presence in my ear. We're here, Gideon. Just keep them talking. The first night over a lavish dinner I was meant to never finish, I made my move. I leaned in, my voice dropping, filled with false vulnerability. Kids, this trip, it's made me realize things. I looked between them. If anything ever happened to me, I need to know you're taken care of. Truly taken care of. Brittany's eyes lit with a predatory gleam she couldn't fully hide. Tobias just looked sick. Dad, don't talk like that. No, it's important. Your mother. She left me certain instructions about the estate, about trust. I invented the word, watching Brittany's reaction. She leaned forward, hooked. A trust? A complicated one. Lots of conditions managed by the firm, but I sighed, the picture of a tired, lonely old man. Seeing you both here, being a family, I think I want to simplify things. Move more assets directly to you, immediately. Maybe even on this trip, I could call my lawyers. The greed in Brittany's face was naked. This was a prize beyond their original plot. Not just an inheritance after a tragic death, but a voluntary, massive transfer. No suspicion, no weight. That night, through the hidden audio feed, Stone and I listened to them in their room. "We have to call them off," Tobias hissed, his voice trembling. "He's going to give us the money now. We don't need to do the other thing." "Are you insane?" Brittany's whisper was venomous. "He's old. He's sentimental. He could change his mind the second we land back home. This is our only guarantee. The original plan stands. We have the backup." "Backup?" Tobias sounded terrified. "The insulin from my bag. A high enough dose. It looks like natural causes in a man with grief-stricken stress. We will do it tomorrow, at the Villa Garden tour. Then we get the money and our freedom." I sat in the dark of my own room, listening to my death being scheduled, the backup plan. The cold finality of it broke the last remnant of a father's heart. The next morning at a private villa garden, the stage was set. Lush greenery, secluded pathways. Brittany carried a small purse, inside a loaded syringe. As we walked, I deliberately lagged behind near a beautiful ancient stone fountain. Brittany saw her chance. "Gideon, you look warm. Let's sit by the water." This was it. Tobias was a few feet away, pale, staring at the ground. Brittany moved close, her hand slipping into her purse, but I spoke first. My voice was not that of a victim. It was the voice of the CEO who'd built empires, cold, clear, carrying perfectly to the hidden microphones. "She knew, you know." Brittany froze. "What?" "Linda, my wife, your mother-in-law." I looked directly at Tobias, who flinched. "She knew what you were, both of you. The greed, the calculation. She begged me to protect myself from you." "Dad, what are you talking?" Tobias started. "6 months before she died," I continued, my eyes locked on my son. "She made me do something. She made me secure everything. The companies, the wealth, the assets, into an irrevocable forensic-level trust. It can only be dispersed to direct bloodline descendants upon my natural death, and only if there is no evidence of foul play or undue influence." I let a grim smile touch my lips. "If I die under suspicious circumstances, if a toxicology report shows so much as an aspirin I didn't prescribe, every single dollar goes to cancer research. You get nothing. Not a penny." The blood drained from both their faces. Brittany's hand was still in her purse, clutching the syringe. "The trip, the promise of money, it was a test, the final one, and you failed spectacularly." It was then that Agent Stone and a contingent of Italian polizia stepped from behind the hedges. It was over. But as they led my sobbing son away in handcuffs, he turned to me, his face a wreck of tears and rage. "She hated me. She never thought I was good enough. She poisoned you against me." And I finally understood the deepest betrayal. He didn't just want the money. He wanted to erase his mother's judgment, to prove her wrong by destroying the life she'd built with me. The legal proceedings were swift. The evidence was overwhelming. The audio from the plane, the garden, the video from the airport. They both received long sentences. I returned to an empty house. The silence was deafening. But I wasn't alone with ghosts. I had a promise to keep. One afternoon, I went to Linda's grave. I placed a single stone on her headstone, our old tradition. "You were right," I whispered to the wind, "about everything. And then I did what I should have done years ago. I dismantled the corporate empire, I sold the companies, and with the money I established the Linda's Light Foundation. Not for cancer research, but for families in crisis, for counseling, for intervention, to catch people before they fall into the same darkness that consumed my son. Because the shocking twist wasn't just the betrayal. It was the realization that my own success, my own absence, had helped create the hollow man my son became. Brittany was just the spark. The kindling was years of my own neglect. The moral of the story isn't just about trust or greed. It's about the cost of what we build. I built fortunes, but I failed to build a son. I provided everything except the one thing that mattered. My presence, my attention, my love, unconditional and watchful. The agent's whisper at the airport didn't just save my life. It forced my eyes open. And sometimes the most dangerous traps aren't the ones set by enemies. They're the ones we walk into with the people we call family, blinded by the love we assume is there. So hold your loved ones close, but also hold them accountable. Listen to the whispers, both from the people trying to warn you and from your own gut. Because sometimes the person plotting your downfall is sharing your last name, and the only revenge that matters is living well, living wisely, and turning your pain into a light for others lost in the same dark. If you've ever felt a betrayal that shook your world, type family first in the comments. And remember, you're not alone in this. We're a community here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. The story isn't over until we all learn from it.